Hey, this video is about a tip to improve your consistency in Scripe natural alignment, specifically the fire baits in P8S Phase 2. Now I call it a tip rather than a strat because you're really still doing Scripe natural alignment, and in fact, no one else in the party even has to know that you're doing this change for it to work and improve the consistency. I've been calling it the geometry lore, and many people, for example in Party Finder or in various groups that I've seen, already know about this, but I've also seen many people who don't know it, and including many streamers not taking advantage of this very simple improvement. So what I have on the screen here is an idealized diagram of how Scribe natural alignment is supposed to work. We have the tanks in the middle with the natural alignment debuffs, and we have the Scholar, the Dragoon, and the Black Mage baiting the fire AoEs by being a full 1 square length distance away. The other 3 players, the White Mage, the Reaper, and the Bard, are closer into the tanks, and therefore they are less than 1 full square length away and not going to be one of the 3 farthest players. Now, the unfortunate thing about the diagram is that it is not what happens in reality. In reality, because rows 1 and 3 are being hit with AoEs, the tanks with natural alignment are actually going to be a little bit south of the dividing line between rows 1 and 2, and the Dragoon is actually going to be a little bit north of the dividing line between rows 2 and 3. What this means is that the distance from the tanks to the Dragoon is less than 1 full side length. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the baits are going to fail, but as I'm sure many of you have seen happen, the White Mage or the Bard may be a little bit farther outside or farther away from the tanks than they should be, and they will be a little bit farther than this shorter distance from the tanks to the Dragoon, even though they're still closer than the person that's intended to bait on their side. So if the Bard is too close to the Black Mage, they're still closer to the tanks than the Black Mage. They're still standing a little bit in front of the Black Mage, but they're farther away than this distance from the tanks to the Dragoon. They're going to take a fire stack. That group is going to get double hit, leading to deaths and very likely a party wipe. Now, there's a very simple solution, which is for the Dragoon to just stand offside the midline. That creates the same vertical distance between the tanks and the Dragoon, and there's also this horizontal distance. So the total distance is this hypotenuse, which is going to be longer and going to be closer to that 1 full square side length that the other baits have. Now, the other melee in this diagram, the Reaper, can stand in their normal spot. They will still comfortably be within the range of the fire AoE. Nothing needs to change, but this way, even if the Bard and White Mage are a little bit farther out than they should be, the baits should still work properly. No one will get double hit, and the wipe will be prevented. Now, again, I want to emphasize that the normal strat where everyone is on the midline does work, but the people with natural alignment and the melee or tank doing the baits needs to be very cautious to be as close to the dividing line between rows as they can. In this way, you have much more room for error, much more flexible positionings. You can do it faster, and hopefully this will help improve your consistency. Thanks for watching, and best of luck in your raids.